And if they weren't aggressive and shitty to others and you added more testosterone or a lot, it doesn't turn them shitty. If they were shitty and you give them a lot of testosterone, you get more shitty. But if the person wasn't shitty and you give them more testosterone, up to a certain threshold, if you give anybody a gigantic amount of testosterone, they're going to lose their fucking shit. But if you give them more, double their testosterone or something, then if the person was solid, they're just going to be more solid. They're going to be more of what they were, right? Kind of an important distinction to make there. But this idea, like the more masculinity you have or the worse it is, that's bullshit. And I'm just bringing that up because the people online are the last people a man needs to be listening to about toxic masculinity in many ways and what masculinity is or it isn't, particularly on the left side of the political spectrum. These cats don't know their ass from a fucking hole in the ground.
Fuck me, dude. Yeah. Yeah.
They don't know. They don't fucking know. They're right. The marginalized people have been shit on too much. Men have shit on people for too long. Masculinity, as we know it, classically has been involved in a lot of bullshit. All that's true.
And
good for you.
What you're talking about, like, and there's good.
Right. And also that's not the only thing that's true. So these are the, like, you can't even you couldn't talk about this stuff on our gun forum because frankly, it's a neurotic fucking fruit basket. And
it would make it 2 paragraphs maybe, and it would just be.
It's a fruit basket. It is a fucking fruit basket. And I don't mean that like gay, fruit like gay.
No, I know what you mean.
I just mean like it's a fruit basket of fucking neuroticism. It's completely fucking ridiculous. It's Bretzel Town. And that's why we're talking about like forums and this is another reason why I'm breaking in this direction is because whether it's men or women or whoever, being able to talk about masculinity in this way and have conversations that help us to evolve and heal. This is where I want to go, or this is what I would invest in terms of online forum. If we talked this way, right? Especially for men. It's, dude, I'm telling you, there's as for much of it it's not a fucking mystery. It is a regime of people who want to cut away at maleness because they see maleness, the entirety of it is shit. So their expressed goal is to take the legs out from maleness.
Fucking evolve, Randy. Just evolve.
Sure. That's what they want.
To God.
They want to, and the whole thing is an online neurotic paper cutting machine, not cutting papers, but papers cutting against anything that they see as toxic related to men and have a relationship with objective facts.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to get people into the boat and we're going to sail the seas of fucking aqua velva. It's like, yeah, there's retarded masculinity. Of course there's retarded masculinity. Are you kidding me? How can you not? For those of us that have eaten the shit sandwiches of abuse from both men and women, of course I can say there's male fucking retardation, masculine retardation. It's awful. It sucks. But the answer to that and evolved masculinity isn't being involved in a supersonic hyper policing hyper neurotic fruit basket fucking pretzel reality.
It's not abstinence, right?
Yeah, it's not
abstinence from masculinity.
It's not shit on yourself as a man. Shit on yourself as a man because other men were shitty. We're all born in the era that we're born into. We can only do what we can. What is going on, everyone? Tis Miyanovich, and I welcome you to the main dojo, the place where we process the raw struggles of men in an unprecedented paradigm. There is something inside of you that wants you to be more than what you are. But there also may be something inside of you that wants you to go down. And for some of us, that means going down for good. So, remove your ego, drop your bullshit, become vulnerable, and step into the dojo, mate. the path of the yang energy, the path of the masculine energy. So let's go back to like, do I know what I'm going to do or what it is? No. And I think, again, I said like, because I'm still going to get the spaceship fixed or built before I would even know. I think there would be a tendency for, if I knew what was up right now, I'd go for it, and I'm not in that position, and I'd fuck up my, I'd fuck things up, my health or whatever.
Overextend, I just know that
everything
to move one way when you should have moved the other.
Not be patient enough and listen.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of you just make the fucking meathead decision and it fucking waste time. I do know that time is of the essence, and there's no more time for fucking around. I know that. But while that's also going on, I am forced by the situation that I'm in. We live far out in the country, but I can't go down the street and get a job. If I have that mentality, we have to pick up and move somewhere. And every week we're more and more in debt. And it's me investing in me for the first time really ever, because I could get afraid and move us out of the country, which would kill me at many levels, and move us somewhere where I would have to go and get an entry level something. And there goes all of this work that I've put into me creatively, perhaps to get prepared for what's happening next.
It's important to say that.
Then I would just be fucking working at Starbucks forever or whatever. So I can't go anywhere. I'm basically past the point of no return. And every day the weight gets more and more on my shoulders. And every day I have to ask myself, why am I doing this? And every day the answer is, for the first time, I'm going to fucking believe in myself for real. My full power, my full capacity, my full gifts. I've never done it before. I've always just dissipated myself for the sake of other people.
Man. That's inspiring. That's really cool.
And I don't know what it feels like to be strong while I'm doing this, even though I'm being very strong while I'm doing this. My brain and my body feel the opposite. Even though my muscles are stronger than they've ever been because I've been working on it, my internal experience feels like the 18th century mother. Why? Probably because
Can you
of
please
test.
give her a name?
If it's
your 1800s.
I don't want to use Matilda because you use Matilda. We'll think
Gertrude,
about it.
Gertie. I like.
Yeah, it's going to be
that.
something like that. But that's what I feel like on the inside. And if it's not my thyroid, which I thought it was going to be thyroid and test, but it's not. My thyroid scores are fucking fine. I was
glad
shocked.
to hear that. That's a good thing.
Yeah. So especially since there's thyroid bullshit in my family and I don't have it. So I've got to get everything up to snuff. My brain chemicals are not there. Everything's real hazy. Everything's like flat affect. I don't have my emotions used to last and like burgeon into these like beautiful, like resplendent fucking experiences, just emotions. And now they're like Germanic. They're like, I think I have happiness gone. Or
this
or
is what you call sad, yeah?
Like,
I've heard this. I know this sad.
I am liking this one.
I see that person smiling, and I see that person smiling. That's interesting. They must be stupid.
I can relate. I have smiles like that too.
I do have a mouth. That could do it.
That's what's going on in my brain now. It's like, oh, I'm happy and I'm
I haven't had that.
I'm horny
I've had that
and
with
it's gone.
laughter for a long period of time, man. For years. I don't truly like belly laugh.
I know. I'm starting to. I know. It sounds like, yeah. That the one episode where the outtake episode where I was losing my shit. with Sir Oliver Reed. That was one of the very few times in the past couple of months where I got into the old well and I was losing my goddamn mind laughing. That was great. But other than that, I'm like, I know it's funny. And I'm like, ha.
Dude, Jimmy Shit Tickets, our whole bit where like you, me, frickin' Alex and Star were chilling in the van. And I had, I don't know if I can Stella's name.
Nah, he won't care if you just mentioned it.
I hit him like a frickin' laser-guided missile of humor so bad that he couldn't even fucking look at me. It was like 2 days later in the hotel lobby, and Hunter just looks at me, and he just loses his shit. Yeah. We hit a riff together because we had known each other on online engagements. That's only typing at best. But man, that humor that we had in that van, the level of intelligence, compassion, hilarity, all of that. It was like, that was truly one of the last times where I've been like, dude, this shit needs to be recorded. It's so good.
Did you come for 2 years or one?
It's funny you say that. I think I did too. I think I did too.
The first year. Yeah, you did too. The first time was the first year was we did the Indian voice, you and I.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. I'm going to brush my anus teeth with this toothbrush.
Yes.
Right?
We had that bit going on before we even got to the thing. And then we were doing the dirty online, customer service Indian rep who, couldn't hide his perversion. Yeah. So we were doing that the first year. I remember that. But to come back around, I'm starting to get flat. My feelings are just like, yay.
Do you feel like it causes depression or has anything to do along that lines or is respective to that?
Oh yeah. It has but it's not like it's serotonic and dopaminergic for sure. And the depression isn't like, oh, fucking woe is me, or I'm going to die, I want to kill myself. It's not like that. It's just more like, I do not want to fucking get out of this bed today. I don't want to get in the car. I don't want to drive my kids. I don't want to fucking do. And that's why I think it's test related. That's why I think it's, if it's not test, I will be so surprised. It will have to be some other gland.
It's okay if it is, and it's okay if it's not. You're exploring it.
Yeah. I think I'm going to fucking go on regardless, because whatever it is that I need to do, I think having a little bit of a boost, even if I went super physiologic, would help. So, but I think it's going to be that. But anyway, to come back all the way around, it's interesting how, it's like fully coming into the understanding of power as a man while the physiological reality is going in the other direction, full depletion. And this is why I think this is a synergistic eye of the needle that a man has to go through. And some men don't make it. They don't have the Mang Dojo. They don't have a guru. They don't have these discussions. They just get to this point and they just fizzle out over 20 years. Because I think you need to choose. You need to choose. You need to choose to do it. This is my last go around. This is the last phase of my life where I make a fucking thing happen. That's great for me, for my family too. That's great too. But I'm going to do a fucking thing and I'm choosing it. But in order for me to do this, I'm going against nature. Because nature is trying to put me in the fucking ground. It's done with me. My sperms have been used for the process of evolution. It's not real interested. The society's not real interested in older people. It's not interested in that shit. It's interested in you going away and the young people and the beautiful people becoming where it's at. But not you, Half-Deadpool, not me. It wants us to go away now. But I'm not that cat. I'm not going away.
You ain't putting me on no iceberg and pushing me off. No shit tickets that die in the ocean. Motherfucker. Listen, I was in a band, Reggae Tony, all right? Listen, we were so fucking popular. Reggae Tony. We only played at gay Italian restaurants. We did reggae.
You never sampled my meat sauce. You don't even know
what my penne tastes like.
I just am fucking like, you have to choose it. I think that's what matters. You have to fucking choose it and do it. Don't wait for the world to provide you something. You do it. And in this instance, because I'm depleted physically, I'm having to make an existential choice also. Like, I'm going to full on go. And that means whatever is going on with me physiologically, I have to take care of also. And notice it's a crisis. It's a crisis. I've got financial crisis going on. I've got physiological crisis going on. And it has forced that part of me down. And this other part of myself is going, fuck no. And I feel like everything that's going on with my family and otherwise, it's dependent upon me stepping into this empowerment. It's dependent upon it. And when I've been thinking about these things in myself, and then we're talking, and I see the exact same fucking thing happening with you. And then I talk with Sodini, and I'm like, that's kind of what just happened with Mike. He went through that. And then I'm like, is this fucking happening with all
different
of us?
ages, different demographics, different, just different parts of the country, everything.
And I think it is. And I think that the sample that we are starting with here with our gun community is just a taste of what's happening out there. I just know that I'm fucking going for it, and I'm in the middle of it, and it blows, but I'm still going to go for it because I don't have a choice anymore. I can't, there's no fallback. There's no plan B. There is none. There's step into this. And I'll bring this point up too. Step into this empowerment. If you don't, it's to your peril. It literally is like that. So let's bring that back to the other thing I've been thinking about. We've been in peril the whole time because our mothers or our family took the path of the yang path away from us, the yang energy path away from us.
Is yang masculine, yin is feminine? Okay.
Correct.
Sorry, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so the yang comes over top and it's white, and the yin is dark. It's black and it goes underneath. That path was taken from us, and it's been a slow death, right? Or it was never there in the beginning. But this is what happens whenever all you're allowed to fucking express is mostly the yin energy and you're a man. Is it any wonder why you're in full depletion at this point? You're powerful and resilient enough to take it for this long, but you will not be able to follow it and continue. It will fucking take you. And that's what's happening with me too. I thought I had the yang path going, but not as much as I thought. That world of mimicry, that world of constantly giving yourself to others and not recognizing your own value.
Attaching yourself to your craft or passions and stuff. I mean, you're tall, you're big, you're charming.
Yeah.
Carpentry, firearms, like that's all like manly shit, right? You know what I mean? Like, yep. I think that's where I hid myself, or thought I was finding myself, in motorcycles, guitars, stand-up comedy, making people like me, guns, but it was pretty much a farce, which you have opened up to me, talking about this stuff earlier.
Yeah. I think I like all of these elements, and it wouldn't be that these elements,
and we wouldn't be
away.
The people we were today if we didn't go through those experiences, right?
It's also not that there's no yang energy. Obviously, that's not fucking true. It's just the essential yang energy has been kept away, is what I feel. And the lock on that door has to do with being basically immersed in or drunk on the yin energy. And this is not, or intoxicated by, and this is not good for a man long term. And where's the proof? The proof is in the pudding. Look at what's going on with you. Look at what's happening with me. This is happening with a lot of men. And I do think society also is forcing men to be more yin than what's good for them. Now, that's not to say that toxic yang isn't bullshit. And we know what toxic yang does to society or to people. It's also fucking deleterious. But our society, especially if you're looking at the culture that we're involved in, which is left of center, it promotes the yin energy and does not promote the yang energy. One of the reasons why I want to keep this thing audio is I want dudes to get off of the screens, and I think screens are terrible. That's what Sardini brought it up. I was basically like, how do we get better? How do men get better? How do you think men need, how do we get healthier? And Mike, his first answer was like, fucking social media, get off of it. Stop using it. I think men specifically are being harmed. I think dopamine is being harmed. I think testosterone is being harmed. Serotonin is being harmed. But the people that frequent the internet a lot, they don't care about any of that shit. If they wound up a mermaid with a dick and balls and vagina on their forehead all at once, they'd be totally fine as long as there was a new Atari game that was coming out in a retro app,
dude,
or whatever. They don't even a lot of the people that are online have the same sensibility issue that cigarette smokers have. Like, they don't even know it's good for them or bad for them. They just want to do the next thing they want to do.
I said the phrase to a woman on the phone, "You know this isn't the internet, right?" And I fucking meant it. And she knew exactly what I meant. That I would come down to the office and see her in person to make sure that XYZ happened, which happened to be better care for my brother. I literally was like, "You know this isn't the internet. I just saw you last week. I will come back down to the office and we'll chat with your supervisor and we'll get this done. This is ridiculous."
Yeah. Well, let's switch over to, I was mentioning before about being on the left side of the political spectrum philosophically and wanting to step into the reality of masculinity and relate to it in that way. And which has to do with everything, physical fitness, it has to do with mental fitness, all of that. And you brought up, that we have people in our quote unquote community, online who are so neurotic about policing the social justice of everybody's language that it's like you're not allowed to talk about things like physical fitness.
It hampers weight. It's interesting. It hampers any progress at all. Physical fitness, weight. I mean, for fuck's sake, even accidentally saying she or he or something, and it should be the opposite or something. Something small. Because we certainly don't mean it derogatorily. Like, we don't mean it in a derogatory manner or something. But then people can hop on it, or you'll say something like, "Hey, a better choice." Honestly, you're talking about a self-defense option that is a 1 in a million chance that will change your life forever, potentially realistically ruining your life. Even if you're on the right side of that engagement and you're worried about saving $59, you're going to wish that you spent that $59 on whatever accoutrement, this light or whatever. And then they jump in, "Oh, you're poor shaming." No, it's important to be physically fit. You are overweight. I am not. I am big boned and soft, and it's not appropriate for you to fat shame. I'm not talking about bullying statements either here, man. You know what I'm talking about. It's that self-policing when it comes down to people bullying and stuff. Fantastic. It's great that we can hold each other accountable and make sure that jerks aren't allowed. But when I feel like it's protecting your own self-interest of not being called out on being whatever, fill in the blank, lazy, overweight, not taking care of yourself, whatever. And it's hard, especially if it comes from like an elder, like I was saying, because you naturally want to give someone, more respect or listen to them, especially if they're articulate. But it's hard to make progress when people are just policing the shit out of everything.
Well, the internet is for mainly introverts, and introverts are higher in neuroticism, and they have less resilience because they don't go out and interact in the world as much. And so and they're more judgmental if they're liberal. People, if they're on the internet a lot and they're more judgmental, they're more likely to be liberal in that way. So what we have in the online community, which is what we're talking about as a sample, is a magnet for people that I wouldn't consider mentally balanced or mature. It's a magnet for people who have probably trauma, high neuroticism. They are not well in mind or body because they're on the internet all the time. They're more likely to smoke. They're more likely to have addiction going on. They're certainly more likely to be addicted to guns or addicted to the consumerism aspect
the
of
dopamine
guns,
stuff, the retail therapy, window shopping, buying stupid shit, tchotchkes.
So, is it any wonder that if we're in this online forum community that the healthier people move away from it, and the people that are left to make the commentary often are really immature, really highly overly sensitive. They lack discipline. They don't like authority. I mean, they're like in the state of like a 13-year-old.
And they're prickly. That's the thing that kills me is when I say something like polite or ask something. Hey, you put a dollar symbol in there and that could potentially affect our group. We'll get our page zucked. Would you kindly, remove that? And then a response. Who the hell do you think you are? Who the hell do I think I am? I'm a polite person. Just pointing something out. And if we were in person, I would probably now shove you at this point in time.
Sure. Yeah. It's why, it's why I don't spend a lot of time there, and I will increasingly not spend a lot of time.
It's sad. I used to get a lot from it. I think many of us, I think you nailed it. I didn't even think about this. I've noticed in our core group, we're just sort of slowly engaging less and less, and evolving. We're evolving.
The internet, yes. And the internet is a magnet for dysfunctional people, imbalanced people, perpetually adolescent people. It's a magnet for it. And the healthier you become, the less you want to be there.
Man.
And, especially social media. So that's why every fucking month for years, I would have this like, why are these fucking people like this? Don't they learn? Can't they? I mean, I'm constantly, because what your brain is doing, it's resetting back to reason and reasonability and reasonable expectations. But these people are neurologically unreasonable. They have issues like a motherfucker, and they can't really be that policey and neurotic out in the world, or they wouldn't even be employable or otherwise. So what they do is their neurosis and their policing gets a place to go on the internet. And I got tired I fought for 7 years, 7 days straight, the worst of it. It gets worse than the way that it is right now. And I fought the worst of it. And I built the firewall against the worst of it. But I do not want to fight even this more mild version of it. And also, I just think as time moves on, this is probably going to get worse again. And there's a nuclear option that I devised. I'll blow the whole fucking thing up and start again, and it'll all only just be like it is in our side development group for those kinds of people. But I don't want to do that now, right? It's just, the writing's on the wall. It's only going to be more and more fucking retarded. It's the only direction
I've been so focused on not dying, not taking my life, caring for others, surviving, being in the real world. I am so detached from so much, and it's a good thing in many ways. Granted, I'm not connected with a lot of stuff that's happening in our world right now, but I don't have the capacity, and I think that's okay.
Yeah.
But I always joke, my running joke in our chat is always, I'm almost this old man, gam, like Grampy, I'm just like, what is this bullshit I'm hearing about fires in some uncontrollable fire situation? Like I just don't, the UFO thing, apparently I missed. We have a UFOs problem now or something. I don't even know. And I don't even care. I'm like, oh yay, they're here, or they aren't. Whatever, carry on.
Yeah. I just know for the purpose of this podcast, what it is toxic to evolving masculinity. Like the idea that the more masculinity you have, the worse it is, right? There's a direct correlation between it increasing and things becoming worse, which could be true. It all depends on the person. Which is interesting. Well, I will do an episode just called testosterone, and I will do an actual breakdown of what's up with testosterone. And as it turns out, I was listening to some Dr. Robert Sapolsky recently, and his breakdown of the cutting edge is there's this idea that the more masculinity you bring in, the more aggression goes up and the more violence goes up. And he said that's not true. What happens is the more testosterone you bring in, the more that whatever the state is of that being, whether it's a chimpanzee or a human, you get the more of what they had there in the beginning. And if they weren't aggressive and shitty to others and you added more testosterone or a lot, it doesn't turn them shitty. If they were shitty and you give them a lot of testosterone, you get more shitty. But if the person wasn't shitty and you give them more testosterone, up to a certain threshold, if you give anybody a gigantic amount of testosterone, they're going to lose their fucking shit. But if you give them more, double their testosterone or something, then if the person was solid, they're just going to be more solid. They're going to be more of what they were, right? Kind of an important distinction to make there. But this idea, like the more masculinity you have or the worse it is, that's bullshit. And I'm just bringing that up because the people online are the last people a man needs to be listening to about toxic masculinity in many ways and what masculinity is or it isn't, particularly on the left side of the political spectrum. These cats don't know their ass from a fucking hole in the ground.
Dude. Yeah. Yeah.
They don't know. They don't fucking know. They're right. The marginalized people have been shit on too much. Men have shit on people for too long. Masculinity, as we know it, classically has been involved in a lot of bullshit. All that's true. Good for you.
And what you're talking about, like, and there's good.
Right. And also the other, that's not the only thing that's true. So these are the, like, you can't even talk about, you couldn't talk about this stuff on our gun forum.
No
because
way.
frankly, it's a neurotic fucking fruit basket.
It would make it two paragraphs maybe, and it would just be.
It's a fruit basket.
Ugh.
It is a fucking fruit basket. And I don't mean that like gay fruit.
No,
like
I know
gay.
what you mean.
I just mean like it's a fruit basket of fucking neuroticism. It's completely fucking ridiculous. It's Bretzel Town. And that's why we're talking about like forums and this is another reason why I'm breaking in this direction is because whether it's men or women or whoever, being able to talk about masculinity in this way and have conversations that help us to evolve and heal. This is where I want to go, or this is what I would invest in terms of online forum. If we talked this way, right? Especially for men. It's, dude, I'm telling you, there's as for much of it as it's not a fucking mystery. It is a regime of people who want to cut away at maleness because they see maleness, the entirety of it is shit. So their expressed goal is to take the legs out from maleness.
Fucking evolve, Randy. Just evolve.
Yeah, right.
I fucking swear to God.
That's what they want. They want to, and the whole thing is an online neurotic paper cutting machine, not cutting papers, but papers cutting against anything that they see as toxic related to men, related to masculinity.
Or even provoking, like I've said a lot of times with my sister, just out of nowhere, provoking some negativity. You're like, where is this coming from? It's fucking Tuesday at 2 p.m. Shouldn't you be at work? Why are you saying you don't need a man? Men must evolve. I don't need, just all the weird shitting on men. It's just hard to, I guess it was for a while. It was really getting to me. And now it's just a place of like, I'm just kind of laughing because I'm kind of ending up on the other side of it. Thanks to you very much, for kind of guiding me, through many things over the last several years, but in particular the last 6 months to a year. And not in a toxic, shitty way. You've been able to like lift me up and be like, dude, it's okay to be a man. And this is what that looks like and means. Like, I don't mean you need to be going around beating your children and fucking punching everybody and shit and beating your chest. That's not what I'm talking about, dude. I'm talking about taking care of yourself to a level that you deserve and everybody around you deserves. That's okay.
And have a relationship with objective facts. And I'm not trying to get people into the boat and we're going to sail the seas of fucking Aqua Velva. Like, you know what I mean? That shit's so kitschy and stupid. That maleness.
No cologne, please. No Axe body spray.
It's also fucking.
I hate that shit.
Yeah. There's retarded masculinity. Of course there's retarded masculinity. Are you kidding me? How can you not? For those of us that have eaten the shit sandwiches of abuse from both men and women, of course I can say there's male fucking retardation, masculine retardation. It's awful. It sucks. But the answer to that and evolved masculinity isn't being involved in a supersonic hyper policing, hyper neurotic fruit basket, fucking pretzel
It's
reality.
not abstinence, right? It's not abstinence from masculinity.
It's not shit on yourself as a man. Shit on yourself as a man because other men were shitty. We're all born in the era that we're born into. We can only do what we can, right? But this like the hyper policing left, it's a pretzel. It's you start to the reason why I brought retarded back and why I still want to use pretzels, but I brought retarded back is because legitimately it is fucking retarded what is happening. It is scientifically
By
retarded.
definition,
It is people who are using information that's incomplete to create this mythology and then policing everybody else based on the fucking mythology. And these are the last fucking people on earth that understand. What if they did understand, they wouldn't be doing it. And is there a gatekeeping that needs to happen here by me? I think so. If you're hyper policing men based upon these half-ass ideas, then there's something wrong with your manliness or your manhood or your masculinity. There's something fucking wrong with you. That's why you're doing it. Because no man would go look at all of masculinity and all of manhood and go, this is 100% a shit show and needs to go away. It's just not factual. That's why I don't even know, man, if there needs to be a new forum reality. My thought this morning was, maybe we're going to break new ground here because this podcast is the forum. Instead of me texting you, this is the forum. And then we can reference off of these exchanges instead of in the comment section fully. So if I have Waltz on, which I'm going to have on, I'm going to have on, or Martin on, or other people, this is the forum because that's what's happening. And we're exchanging in the forum like this. And then they can talk to you about your thing and I can talk to them about the other thing. And then if it ever just got so thick and used and full and people are like, yeah, get some kind of a text forum going on for this, because then I'll do it.
You're really smart to know that could deplete the purity and the strength, or dilute it rather, really quickly.
Yeah, it's what's difference? What's the difference between the Mang Dojo and other things then? If I open up a fucking thing on Discord, that Discord is absolutely, that thing is cutting the nuts figuratively off of tons of males. It's allowing them to cut their own nuts off, to pull their own spine out, to stay a fucking perpetually adolescent male who's very online. And we're trying to go in the other direction, right? That's why I think that bringing face to face, I see you, you see me, we talk, right? Maybe that's the forum.
I, for a very long time, I stopped taking friend requests on social media a while back. I still haven't deleted social media for lots of reasons, primarily because I need them to access my business pages, and it's a place for us to chat, like you said, the Texas thing. Anyway, oh God, where was I going with this? Not accepting new friend requests. Oh, I made it a point about 4 or 5 years ago that I would not accept a Facebook request from someone that I knew, effectively in town, but namely my neighbors and close people I care about, because I didn't want to find out about their soccer game on Facebook. I wanted an invite to their child's soccer game to go support them in person. I wanted to be asked to take the fucking orange slices from Safeway, show up, give their kids orange slices, and be a part of the community. And it was helpful with 3 men in particular who I'm very close with, who were in my inner circle when I was going through my deepest, darkest depths of suicidal ideation, and I needed support. And I think a lot of it was curating those relationships with intent and not just turning it into a passive, like, Pokemon collection of humans on the internet. Being like, if I want to know what's going on with whomever, Justin, Tyler, Mike, I got to go. Can I buy you coffee? What are you doing? Can I buy you lunch later?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, tomorrow's better. Right on, dude. I'll see you tomorrow. And then, oh, your kid's got a soccer game? Dope. I got the orange slices.
I will say it till I'm blue in the face. I think these cascading crises that we're talking about is related to how much time men are spending online and dopamine. I think it's because we're learning about, I don't know if we talked about it. Mike and I did. Dopamine goes down, test goes down, dopamine goes down. So it's cutting edge. They're not there yet. It's really hard to measure, or it's almost impossible sometimes to measure dopamine, serotonin, neurochemicals. They don't fully know how to do it. So that's quite important. And I think that this whole, like, just depleting yourself with screen addiction is why men are, the normal amount of like middle-age crises now is like times 2, or it's causing more issues.
It has to be.
So I don't get depleted by this at all. So Dini and I were talking about this yesterday. We went 3 hours and 45 minutes and he went, that didn't even feel like it. And we just went 3 hours. I'm a little bit crusty from it, but not bad.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm getting the goods here and everything's okay. Or we're doing the old school human vibe, not the other shit.
It's hard to do it's something I always struggled with is that text communication. There's just so much nuance and interpretation. There's time that goes in between it. It's fun and it's still a form of, engagement and stuff. I really enjoy all of our jokes back and forth, but nothing beats being able to chat. And if you can't sit in physical audience with someone, because I can't run up the street and buy you coffee, this is a pretty amazing technological advancement for us to hang out.
I thought when you were doing the Safeway Oranges thing, I thought I saw this pathway to a joke. I thought you were like, look, if these people are like, I want to invite you to the soccer game, and I go to Safeway and I get the oranges and I jam them into my underwear, and then I go to the soccer field and I'm like, okay, kids, Uncle
Half-Deadpool
got the oranges, and you never guess
everybody,
where they are. So
come on
find
over.
the oranges.
Good job at halftime.
Hey, Jimmy, find Uncle
Half-Deadpool.
these oranges.
Sweet oranges. Ooh, they're in my pants. That's not an orange.
Safeway Oranges in the underwear pedophile joke is it's a new vibe.
It's a new vibe.